I'm Eric Barnes with the Daily Memphian, and welcome to The Sidebar, weekly show on the community, arts, culture, and more. Today we are talking with Liv Cohen from WYXR about the upcoming Raised by Sound Fest. So stay with us for a conversation with Liv. Liv, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
We're actually recording this on Tuesday, so it seems weird to say that. But
it's
it
always
is Thanksgiving. So
Thanksgiving.
happy Thanksgiving. So
Yes.
we'll go through, we'll get Natalie Van Gundy, producer, on a microphone. And towards the end of the show, we'll go through all our favorite happy Thanksgiving memories. And so apparently we're not doing that, according to the look I just got from but thanks for being here. So Raised by Sound Fest is coming up December 2nd from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. and later probably at Crosstown.
Yes.
Sponsored by Mempho, and it's a big fundraiser and concert, the second annual from WYXR, where you work and where we're doing this this show. What is Raised by Sound Fest? What can people expect?
So Raised by Sound Fest, it's got a lot of parts to it, but we've got free music at Crosstown Concourse from 1 to 7 or 6 p.m. And we're going to have a bunch of regional acts. So we've got Madam Frankie, who's a local artist, Rosie, a local punk rock kind of band, the U of M Blue Tom Review, which is a bunch of music majors, and one of our own interns, Trin Miller, actually will be performing. And then we've got Rod Smoth out of Mississippi. He's kind of folk synthy. AJ Haynes of the Seratones. She rocks. Bass Drum of Death out of Oxford, Mississippi, rock band. All of that is free from 1 to 6 p.m. at Crosstown Concourse. And then we have a fundraising performance with Cat Power, which I'm really, really stoked about. She's doing Cat Power Sings Dylan. So his 1966 Royal Albert Hall concert, Dylan Goes Electric. She recorded it as an album, and now she's touring it worldwide next year. And Memphis is one of the only spots you can see it this year other than LA and New York. And then we're capping it all off with Alex Brown. She's a DJ, has a lot of connections to Memphis, and that'll be in the green room. Cat Power, Alex Brown, Articulated. It's a lot going on all day.
And ticket, you have to have a ticket to go.
Yes.
For those.
Yes. So those are fundraising events to keep WYXR going and to bring all of that free live music during the day. Yeah. And I never do. I really should do that. I should disclose, because we're talking about fundraising. We're going to encourage people to. I am a board member of the Daily Memphian. I'm not a board member of the Daily Memphian. I am a board member of WYXR, which I do need to note. I am the CEO and executive editor of Daily Memphian. It's just hard to keep it all straight. So it is very cool, and it was cool when Robbie Grant, the executive director, is that his title? Is that his official title? Executive director, station manager,
all that stuff.
All the things.
When he started whispering, he's like, "Don't tell him, but we've got Cat Power." I was like, "That's awesome." And one interesting thing about it, I mean, my girlfriend started playing it in the apartment in the car, and it's not what I expected, because I hadn't listened to it, and it's super cool.
It is.
I mean, it's just super cool. Like, I don't know that I've ever listened. I guess I've listened to parts of the Dylan performance from 1966, but I've never listened to the whole thing. But it doesn't matter whether you like or don't like Dylan. There's just this very cool thing she's doing with the show. Yeah,
and it's really bold and really, really awesome of her to be doing this, because, I mean, Bob Dylan, he's Bob Dylan.
Right.
And this is one of his most controversial moments in his history as a musician. And she really brings a special touch to it. I'm saying that as a Cat Power and a Bob Dylan fan.
Yeah.
But
controversial because?
I mean, that's when he brought out an electric guitar halfway through during the intermission. People on stage, people in the crowd called him Judas. Like, people were so angry because he was no longer the acoustic, harmonica Bob Dylan that started out. And he was only 24, I think, at the time, and decided to just
make a change,
go haywire. Yeah.
It is amazing what people get angry about.
Yeah.
Like, people can get, that actually is almost heartening, because people can get angry about and then you look back, and he went back to playing acoustic, and he's played electric, and he's done all this work and across a whole. But yeah, Judas.
Yeah. And even when Cat Power first performed this show, someone in the crowd called her Judas at that same exact moment. And I just...
Was it kind of a joke, I hope? Maybe kind of ironic? Or do you think it was...
Let's say it was a joke. kind of like, Rocky Horror, all the callbacks.
Yeah.
It's just the Royal Albert Hall callbacks.
And that show will be, you may have said it, but that's going to be in Crosstown Theater. The others are in the courtyard or in the atrium. Mm-hmm. Last year was Big Star, which was a huge amount of fun. I mean, the whole, and again, I have a bunch of friends who are huge Big Star fans. I'd seen them once. It was super cool to see them. One, Crosstown Theater is just a really great theater to see performances in because the sound is so good. It's just very intimate. But also then the whole day is just fun. It's just a cool day.
It is. I think being able to see Cat Power do this show at the theater is like, I think it might be one of the smallest venues that she's performing in. So you're just like right there in it. And that's how it was for Big Star too. I mean, you feel like you're just right there with them. Yeah. And it's really special.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago, before COVID, before the theater was built, I ran into Todd Richardson, who's president of Crosstown Concourse and one of the co-founders and sort of vision person who had one of the key people had a vision for Crosstown and he's a friend and I live in Crosstown. And so we ran into each other. Neither of us had anything going on. It was like a Saturday night. And so we were like, well, you want to get dinner? Let's get dinner. So we had dinner and it was super fun. And we talked about all kinds of things. And he goes, and we had a couple drinks. And then he's like, you want to go see the new theater? And
oh man.
And I was like, yeah. So he of course has some passcode that he can get in anywhere. And we go in there. And I remember just seeing like how small and how cool and how intimate. And it was set up a little bit. Most of the time it's set up as a stage, but it can be set up as in the round kind of. And I think it was set up sort of that way when I walked around with him. And then all the wood carving things on the side. Yeah. Just going to Crosstown Theater is actually a very cool thing, separate from the fact that Cat Power is going to be there. And it's a good cause. It's WYXR and it is a fundraiser for WYXR. Talk a little bit about, and we're here today with Liv Cohn, who is, I didn't do your official title, which is Membership and Community Engagement Coordinator. We gave you a really catchy title, apparently. Yeah. I missed that board
just
meeting.
Just a catch-all.
We'll talk a little bit more about the other stuff that you do, but membership is one of the things. And, if you're listening and you're not a member of WYXR, you should go to WYXR.org or go to the app and look at membership benefits. It's a great way to support this nonprofit radio station. But let's switch to some of the other performers that you walk through. Madame Frankie has played with Lawrence Matthews, right?
Yes.
It played on his what's his performing name? I've just
he's back to it was Don Lifted. It was Don Lifted. To Lawrence Matthews.
Yes,
now.
Yeah. Lawrence Matthews and Don Lifted. He did a couple albums, mind-blowing albums. Yes. I saw him in the green room. Actually, the first time I saw him was actually in the green room. And Madame Frankie plays a guitar on that. And she played at a TEDx thing I did. This is all really weird. Wow. At Crosstown, right before COVID.
It all happens at Crosstown.
Yeah, and she played because one of the people came out and did a talk whose name I just forgot, who's lovely, and gave us really interesting talk about being an artist. And Madame Frankie played off and on during the TED Talk. It was super cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing Madame Frankie.
She's super magical. Like she's got skills and she's just now starting to release her own music. She's always just played backing for Don Lifted / Lawrence Matthews and Tangela, not Tangela, wrong artist, Taliba Sophia. And so I think this is going to be a really cool moment for her to shine and like do her own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. U of M, which is also, shall we say, a partner in WYXR. Blue Timer, did they play last year? I remember.
No, this is the first time they're performing with us, and I think it's 3 students from Jeff Coran's class. Oh, yeah. I forget the actual name of the course.
WYXR.
But yeah, this is the first time they're going to perform with us, and I'm really excited. They're opening up the whole day, and it's going to rock.
Yeah, yeah. In the atrium, it's really cool to see music in the central atrium because when the sound is right, because the atrium's so big and the kind of resonance and the whole thing, other stuff going on. Well, I'm going to stay with the musicians for a second. So they'll be there. You mentioned Rosie. People are super excited about Bass Drum of Death.
Yeah.
They're excited about the whole thing, but Bass Drum of Death is why
they're pretty big.
Okay. So what do we expect when we see Bass Drum of Death?
So first of all, I think this may be the first free show they've ever done. which is really big. People, they sell out venues all over the world. But they're out of Oxford, Mississippi, which I think I mentioned earlier. And they've been around for the past 10, 15 years. And they're kind of a palatable grunge rock. And I think they were in
as opposed to the unpalatable grunge rock.
But they're super talented and they really rock, and they're going to be playing outside in the courtyard, and so that's going to have like a real festival feel to it,
which we did not do last year, right? There was not in the courtyard. There was because I was volunteering. I was down at the Crosstown Brewery holding a clipboard and getting pens
doing
for people.
Important things.
And actually, at one point, I ran and got bottled water for one of the bands, and it was like, I am a volunteer, and I'm doing really good work here. But it was really cool. That's why I was thinking of maybe Tom U of M Blue Tom Review. It was some students from U of M.
Yes,
I can't remember the name.
Lemons.
They were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They were so good.
Yeah, U of M students typically rock.
Yeah. I remember because you just think, well, these kids, and I'm old, so I'm like, these kids are coming out, and it's gonna be good. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was no nonsense, really good. But back to Bass Drum of Death. So palatable as opposed to unpalatable grunge rock out of Oxford playing. When these bands, just like lifting the curtain a bit, they'll be paid to be here.
Yes.
Right? I mean, just so we know, like they're not all volunteering their time from Cat Power. Everyone.
Every single act that day will be
It's hard. It's hard enough for musicians, and artists to make money. So we're not abusing their,
exactly, and that's
generosity.
That's also a big thing about this festival is that we really want to support our local musicians and our local music scene. So while it is free for the public, we're here to support them financially and just really putting them on, both literally and figuratively, a stage for everyone to check them out.
We'll talk more about some of the acts and some of the other stuff going on that day, but let me hear with Liv Cohen from WYXR, the membership and community engagement coordinator. If you say it dramatically, it's actually now starting to take a kind of weight to it that I'm really enjoying. Yeah. But I am Eric Barnes, and this is The Sidebar. I'll do a little bit of housekeeping here. The Sidebar airs on WYXR 91.7 every Thursday at 11:30, including on Thanksgiving. It's focused on the community, arts, culture, and everything in between. It's also one of many weekly podcasts we do at the Daily Memphian, including Bill Drees and Sam Hardiman's Politics podcast, On the Record, the Memphis Grizzlies podcast hosted by Greg Gaston and featuring our various Tigers writers. Did I say that right? I think I said that wrong, Natalie. I don't know what I said. Here's what I was supposed to say. I was supposed to say the Memphis Grizzlies podcast hosted by Chris Harrington and Drew Hill. We also do a Memphis Tigers podcast hosted by Greg Gaston and featuring many of our Tigers basketball and football and other sport writers. And then we also do a food podcast, Soundbites, that Chris Harrington and Holly Whitfield are hosting. That also airs here on WYXR every Thursday at 11, right before The Sidebar. All of our podcasts are on the Daily Memphian site, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get the WYXR shows. That's the show and Soundbites at WYXR.org, or you can go to the WYXR app and you can get all the shows there. The talk shows and the music shows and archives of the music shows. It's very, very cool. It's a great way to keep up with WYXR. And as I said before, consider becoming a supporter of WYXR. Give a one-time gift, become a member, and get all kinds of member benefits. But do support WYXR. And I should always say, if you're not already a subscriber to Daily Memphian, we are a nonprofit newsroom, the biggest newsroom in the city or the area, maybe the state, I'm not sure. But we do very much rely on subscriptions to make all that happen. Coming up on The Sidebar in the next few weeks, Lauren Reedy, a local, is it fair to call her filmmaker? She's done documentaries. Is that fair? I'm looking at Natalie Van Gundy here.
It's fair, but she also owns a production company.
And she owns a production company. She's done really good work for us at Daily Memphian. Keith Cole, who is the retiring head of the Wolf River Conservancy, is coming on. We'll talk to Keith about all the amazing stuff that he and others have accomplished over the last decade plus with the Wolf River Conservancy and the Greenway and all that, connecting now almost someday it will connect all the way from Ghost River to out in Fayette County all the way down to Mississippi. So we'll talk to Cole about that. And Sam Prager is coming back, repeat guest from Memphis Current, the magazine, and the location and the venue and all the things that Sam does. It's not just a magazine, it's a way of life. Sam Prager. And so we recently had Kanji Anthony on, now of Channel 3. That was amazing. She sang. She's delightful. She's funny. She's really interesting. So Kanji was on recently. Last week we had Kevin Sharp, who's the head of the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. Said it right for the very first time. And also Kevin was nice enough after the show. He took me on a tour that evening through all of the Dixon, and really you should go out there if you have any interest in art. The African-American exhibit they have right now is just absolutely incredible. And then there's other of the collection, the regular collections up. It's just a great visit to go to the Dixon. So really you should. And we did an interview with Mary Casciola and Holly Whitfield from the Daily Memphian staff, talking about ad hoc series of interviews about our 5th anniversary at the Daily Memphian, which happened in September. I should mention also Behind the Headlines is available, a podcast on the Daily Memphian site or wherever you get your podcasts. We do that with the good folks over at WKNO. We recently had Jim Strickland on for part 1 of an interview looking at some of the current issues that he's facing with 6 weeks left in his term. But this week airing tomorrow, if you're listening to this on Thursday, Jim Strickland, we look back for half an hour at his 2 terms in office. Bill Dries and I do. It was really good. Just very interesting to talk to a mayor who's been in for 8 years with so much that has happened. Those are available at WKNO.org or wherever you get your podcasts, or you can go to YouTube and search for Behind the Headlines. Coming up on Behind the Headlines in the coming weeks, Doug McGowan from MLGW will be on. I've got a list of light poles that have the new LED lights in them that are blinking, and we're going to walk through one by one with Doug and ask him when they're going to be fixed. And we're going to hold him accountable, Natalie, to when each of those will be fixed, because I've seen like 3 of them, and this must stop. But we'll talk to him about more serious stuff than that. But we are going to talk to him about the light poles. We also are going to do a big show on the the fiber and broadband initiative that Jim Strickland and others have put forward, and a downtown safety show coming up with Bill Gibbons, Mike Rawlings, former police director, and Lawrence Green from Downtown Memphis Commission. Last but not least, we recently had Paul Young, the new mayor, on Behind the Headlines. You can get that and hear about at least some of what he's got planned when he takes office January 1st. We also did a show on parks with the park director, Nick Walker. We also had Jen Andrews from Shelby Farms and Carol Coletta from all the riverfront parks. Last but not least, so much housekeeping. Our commercial real estate annual year in review business seminar is coming up on November 30th. That's just a few days away at 3 p.m. at the Botanic Garden. You can go to Eventbrite, search for Daily Memphian. You've got to get a ticket to attend that. Paul Young is actually going to be there and do a talk for us about economic development, his plans there. Then we've got Ursula Madden now at the Ford, working with Ford, the auto manufacturer, car manufacturer, truck manufacturer that's building the massive plant just outside Memphis. She'll be talking about giving everybody an update on that construction project. Gwen Fisher from the Memphis Chamber, and 3 guys I don't know who will be talking about various parts of commercial real estate. That whole thing will sell out. And so if you want to go, do go to Eventbrite, search for Daily Memphian, get your tickets now. But we're still here with Liv Cohen. Besides being central, putting together this big Raised by Sound Fest. Again, Raised by Sound Fest is coming up December 2nd from 1 to 11. There's a bunch of free shows, but if you want to go to Cat Power, you want to go to the after party, you should go to WYXR.org.
Or raisedbysoundfest.com. Okay,
to get your tickets.
Yes.
Let's stay with that. So if you do buy tickets, because we're going to try to sell tickets, because that's the way we are, there's other stuff you get to do. There's the after party. There's tarot readings. Come on.
Yes.
You got to go for that. The DJ party in the green room. Mm-hmm. Other things you get if you buy the VIP package.
Yes. So the VIP package comes with a lot. You get access to our VIP lounge from 1 to 7 p.m. all day long during the free live music. And during that, you get free food and free drink all day long. We have Crosstown Brewing, beer, Bernatus wine, and a ton of different food vendors who are coming in to cater, such as Las Delicias, Shrimu, and Kelly English is going to be doing some stuff. Ryan Trim with
it used to be Sweetgrass. I'm still angry about that getting closed. Not at Ryan. It wasn't his fault. But Ryan has the Sunrise.
Yes.
He has the place downtown whose name I can't remember. It's terrible. But Ryan Trim does really great.
Yeah. And ryu sushi, all kinds of
Yeah.
cool stuff, free food, free drink.
The food was great last year. It's
Yes.
kind of weird because sometimes you go to like a VIP thing and you're like, ooh,
just a bunch of charcuterie
nice.
boards.
Yeah, charcuterie board that Natalie loves charcuterie boards because people breathe on them and they kind of talk over them and then
Yes.
people eat. She loves a charcuterie board.
Yes.
It was really good food last year, and these are really good restaurants. So people get that. What other stuff they get?
With the VIP ticket, you also get a Raised by Soundfest tee designed by Kong Wee from Archer, an absolute genius designer, and then a VIP poster and tote bag. They're all really cute. And there's going to be artist in the VIP lounge with wearable art and nail art and like a ton of other surprises. WYXR DJs will be spinning vinyl all day long in the VIP lounge. And
Where
there's
is the
more to
VIP
come.
lounge?
It will be in the Church Health Community Room
Okay.
down the hall from
yeah.
the WYXR Air Room.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can come and go, check out the free music while you're snacking on your ryu sushi and, yeah.
Yeah. No, there are other tickets than VIP tickets people can get because the VIP tickets are expensive, kind of.
They are. But at this point, now that we're talking about it, we only have VIP tickets left.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I did know
GA sold out in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So people are really excited to see Cat Power.
Yeah. But we do have VIP as of
we have
this recording on
a
Tuesday.
handful left. Yeah. And then the DJ after party is a separate ticket. So it's
Do I have to get a separate ticket for that?
you do.
Oh.
So
Note to self.
yes. So they are two different tickets. So even if you just wanted to go to the after party alone, you could just buy an after party ticket and that'll have charcuterie boards actually.
We'll take that other part out. It'll all be fine.
Yeah.
I love charcuterie. I do love charcuterie. We have charcuterie at the CRE seminar with Paul Young, Ursula Mann, Gwen Fisher, and three guys I don't know. We love charcuterie.
Yes.
It's just really Natalie doesn't like charcuterie. Sorry. Anyway. Okay, so it is a separate ticket for
Yes.
that. I'm going to have to text Robbie.
Yes.
Note to self, text Robbie. Besides, when you're not, this I've started to do before, but when you're not doing Raised by Sound, which is a ton, what else do you do for WYXR?
I wear a lot of different hats. So in the membership world, I manage all of our individual giving. So all of our sustaining monthly members, I manage all of those relationships and try to bring on board new monthly donors and all of our one-time donors. I also do that outreach. And then on top of that, I do event planning. So helping with our stereo session series and any one-off events. I work on the event plans for those, volunteer coordination and management. And then I manage all of our community engagement. So our community partners, I build on those relationships and partner with them for different events and also bring other community partners on board to do some work with WYXR.
And you remember you were an intern.
I was.
Yeah. So tell your story of how you end up at WYXR.
Yeah. So I went to Rhodes College. I graduated in May and I was a Bonner Scholar. And so I was looking for a new Bonner site. Bonner Scholars, it's a scholarship where you work with local nonprofits all 4 years. And I was working at MIFA for a while, and then I realized I really wanted to work in the music world. And so my senior year, I had my Bonner director text Robbie. They rode the bus together in elementary school. And
the biggest small town in America, Memphis, Tennessee.
Exactly. And so I got connected with Robbie, and thankfully they brought me on, and then I convinced them to let me stay.
I don't think it took a lot of convincing. And that's not the way I remember the conversation was like, thank God she's staying. We have a place for her. We've got her full time. So,
yeah. So when I was an intern, I did a lot of the same stuff as well. And now I'm just doing it full time.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also have a show, music show on WYXR.
Yeah. So I am the host of The Crooked Beat on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. It's a wide range of music. I don't really stick to any genre in specific. It's like truly all over the place, but that's what I love about it.
Yeah. And why for you music? Like you said, you wanted to be working in
Yeah.
music, and you have the music show. And are you a musician?
No, I'm
Yeah.
not. I was just raised being spoon-fed music.
Yeah.
My dad was one of those guys who, like, when I was 3 years old in the back of the car, he would ask me who's singing, and it tended to be like Bob Dylan or Johnny
Yeah.
Cash or someone. So it's just in my blood to love music. And of course, I had to move to one of the most notable music cities and just kind of dedicate my whole life to it.
See, I like your dad already, because I had a rule in the car when the kids from a very young age that no Disney Channel radio, none of that stuff. So like I drive, I always said to them, like, you can pick the music when you drive, and they were like
Yes.
3. So I had time on my side, and so we would always listen to music in the car. And I remember we used to listen to there's a Fatboy Slim song on a soundtrack that somehow, this is a long time ago, so there were CDs in the car. And I remember the kids would literally go into like pre-K, go, can we listen to Fatboy Slim? That's pretty good.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was good. I'm proud of that. So that's cool. Well, so with sticking with the music thing, I mean, normally I ask at the very end, but now I want to ask a little bit earlier, what was the first concert you ever saw?
Oh, you're going to have no idea who this is. But Nat and Alex Wolf, they were, I was like 10 years old. And they were in this like Nickelodeon band, and then went solo and became real musicians.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That's our first
yeah.
Nickelodeon band.
Yeah.
In the
but it
history
was
of asking this question.
post solo, like, or post their Nickelodeon era, and they were then solo. I saw them at Irving Plaza in New York, and I thought I was so cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you come back to like what you're in, what, 4th grade, 5th grade on Monday, and go, yeah, I was up in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good. First show you went to that you bought your own ticket.
That I bought my own ticket.
I'm guessing that one you didn't buy your own ticket.
No. I would listen, Eric, I've been to, I think, over 100 shows. Like,
No. But just when I ask that question, though, a lot of people can't remember.
Yeah.
So you're not in bad company. I mean, it's always interesting what people do remember.
Yeah, I want to say that one of the first shows I ever bought my own ticket to, it was definitely at the Lyric in Oxford, Mississippi. That's where I'm from.
Yeah,
But
the Lyric's super cool.
yeah, I think it was, I'm blanking on the name. I'm blanking. Let me.
All right, we're going to pause.
I have a
We're
running
going to pause.
list.
I'll shorten the pause.
We'll pause. We'll just pause. No, now I want to know.
This, oh my gosh. Now I have to find my phone. Oh god. Eric, you asked me like the worst question ever.
I argue it's the best.
I know. It's actually
is the
kind of
best.
fascinating what we get from people. So is this a running list of all the shows you've ever been to?
Yeah, well, it stalled out in the middle of college, but
I'm impressed.
I kept a running list of all the concerts I went to. Oh yeah, up until September 2022. I would say the first band that I saw live that I bought a ticket for was Dr. Dog.
Huh.
And
Okay.
I think that
At
was
the
in
Lyric.
2015.
The Lyric is awesome.
Yeah.
I got to do Thacker Mountain Radio at the Lyric 100 years ago, and it was awesome. I think that's all the time we have. But again, December 2nd, 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. That is when the Raised by Sound Fest is happening from 1 till the 5, 6 o'clock. It's all free shows in the atrium and the courtyard. But if you want to see Cat Power, we've got a limited number of VIP tickets left. And people should go to WYXR.org or
raisedbysoundfest.com.
and get a VIP ticket, and we will see you there. Liv Cohn, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks
That
for
is all the time
having
we
me.
have. If you missed any of the show today, go to WYXR, go to the Daily Memphian, go to wherever you get your podcast, and you get the complete show. And thanks very much. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.